in our last get together, we were listening to the message. Gur prasadi ayko jana, duja mar man sach samana, nanak ayko naam varteh mane antar gur prasadi paveh. gur prasadi ayko jana. With the grace of the Guru, the Master, the Guide, ayko jana, that one, the only one, became very, very clear. The clarity of the purpose was added with the grace of the Master. In the world of mysticism, this is very significant thing to understand. Mysticism cannot be taught. It cannot be learned because it is not a subject of the brain. We are so habituated to pass the entire message through the filter of our own information, the filter of our own mind, our own intellect. That any other kind of listening becomes totally foreign for us. Mysticism cannot be understood with the help of the brain. You have to learn to suspend your current belief system. You have to practice to put aside your own understanding of the universe, of the Creator, of everything around you. If you do not suspend that belief system, then the Master's word will be stopped. It won't get in. Because the brain is thinking of either the physical things, or the emotional things, or the intellectual things. And the Master is talking about the spiritual things. We have all experienced in our life that if you just take a very simple example of physical world and the emotional world, the laws are different. Just in these two dimensions. The physical world, one plus one will always make two. The table will remain a table, and if you ask the table, would you just fold your leg a little bit inside so that a chair can be put here, and the table will say, sorry Charlie, I need my space. That's the law of physical world. Follow the logic. Follow the argument. That's the law of the physical world. You step into the emotional world, all logic logic goes out of the window. And we deal with these things on a daily basis. When the mother and the father are dealing with a child, you can see both dimensions playing simultaneously. Instinctively, mother will play in the emotional dimension and the father will play either in the intellectual dimension or in the physical dimension. And they cannot reconcile because the laws are different. In the physical world, if I have $10 and I take 5 out of my pocket and give it to you, I am left with 5, you have 5. That's the law of the physical dimension. You step into the emotional or intellectual world, I have information, I share it with you, I don't lose anything. The laws are different. Just by these simple examples, you can see that if we now step into the spiritual dimension, how drastically the laws are going to change. So if we are going to make sense of those laws, and if we are going to understand anything, then we will have to suspend the belief systems. And that was the message. Gurpar sadhi ayko jana. That's why that grace. Prasad literally means grace. Gur means the master, the one who has been there. That's why that grace is important, because habitually every seeker will continuously fall back into either the physical, emotional or intellectual. And the master will wake up and say, hold it. You slipped again. You fell back again. Come out of it. Look at it from this angle, not from that angle. Only then you become capable of understanding the one. Because the one that we are all trying to eventually get to exists in all dimensions, but only at a spiritual plane. Very key difference. It exists in all dimensions. Its presence can be felt in the physical, in the intellectual, and in the emotional. But its way of behaving will always be spiritual. In the physical dimension, when a child does not listen to the parents, parents will deny the child some convenience. Because the parents are living in the physical dimension. But if we as children misbehave with him, his behavior doesn't change. We change. He doesn't. Because his behavior is according to the spiritual laws. And we have very difficult time even understanding that much. We argue. We teach, we preach. He is a just God. He loves you when you are good. He punishes you when you are bad. Because we cannot understand how can something can exist purely at the spiritual level. So we bring him down to our level. the whole of the understanding gets muddled up, totally confused. That's why that grace is required. That's why that master's touch is required. Gurmatee ayko jana. What does he do? What does the master do? So, well, he helps you in doing one thing, which is duja maar man sach samana. Duja, the other dimensions. The master helps you to identify very clearly and say, look, this behavior belongs to emotional dimension. This behavior belongs to intellectual dimension. This behavior belongs to the physical dimension. And this behavior comes from the spiritual dimension. He or she will have the clarity of the vision and will pass that vision on to you. So you are not constantly wavering between all four of them. We do it all the time. In every walk of life, we mix all four of them. As a matter of fact, in the political world, there is a term for it. Should I take the high ground? Have you heard that term? Take the high ground. What does it mean? It is more convenient to act morally high at this point. So take the high ground. Even in politics. You can see how easy it is to get completely ruffled up, completely confused. As a kid, I was very much fond of reading Perry Mason novels while I was in India. I used to rent these books, old books. And one of the logic that was so amusing to me, that the Perry Mason's secretary Della Street, when she will come back from the court and on the way will ask Perry, what were you trying to do? It didn't make any sense to me even, and I live with you, I'm your secretary. And his standard answer used to be, I was just muddling up the water. Why were you doing that? And here is a beautiful logic. Imagine the husband tells the wife, make me an egg omelette. She goes to make the egg omelette, but she is unable to keep the yellow and the white separate. So now what to do? She scrambles it and brings the scrambled eggs to the husband and says, I asked for the omelette. Oh, I thought you asked for the scrambled eggs. She can hide the fact that the egg got broken in such a way that the yellow and the white was not separate. She doesn't have to admit the mistake, because did she deliberately break it that way because she wanted to scramble it? Or it got broken by mistake and now she's hiding that fact? Scrambling the facts so that you cannot know the reality. Religious people are notorious for scrambling the facts. And you will never know whether they are doing it deliberately or they made a mistake originally and now they are trying to hide. can take the scriptures, take any story, any metaphor, any parable, and go to any one of those, regardless of which religion, which scripture you take, and ask them, would you please explain this? Because in the light of modern information, we know this is not right. Then watch them how they scramble it. Did the God really make the world in 6 days? Oh, but no, you don't understand. God's day is not our day. God's one day can be millions and millions of years of our physical. So how can you take 6 days just as 6 days? Go figure that out now. The facts have been scrambled. A mystic will never do that. A mystic's job is to actually, if it is scrambled up, figure out a way to unscramble it, so that you can see through the facade that your own intellect, that your own mind, your education, your training, your upbringing has created that fog of knowledge. He will clarify that fog. And when that fog is clarified, what happens? Duja mar man sach samana. When that confusion, duja, the other, disappears, the mind starts seeing the actual truth, the actual reality. If your mind can detach from the fact that you are a physical being, that you are a woman or a man or a Britisher or an American or this and this, if you can detach from those labels, then who are you? If you can drop those labels, you can really see who are you. But the labels will drag along with you. A master will help you. Every time you get stuck with the label, he says, hold it. Isn't that another label? A nicer label, a prettier one, a nice sounding, but a label is a label. Drop the label and see the real self. Duja mar man sach samana. When the other, the outer, drops, the truth by itself appears. Nanak ayko naam varteh mane antar, and then you are left with only one word. That's the eternal word. That is his sound. But you need the grace, you need the support of the one who has been there. Majority of the preachers today take advantage of this, because the seeker has no way of knowing if this is a real one or a pseudo one. Most of you probably recently heard or read about a young prodigy coming from India, and he took the world by storm. By the time he turned 19, he was touring the world and was established himself as a God personified on this earth, until the day the 19-year-old was found with another 19-year-old in the privacy of his ashram. And then they found out that ashram actually was a girls running business. So they found the underground, everything, and now that God personified is sitting in the jail. But for a time being, nobody could say anything. Because there was so much energy running after him. From the words, from the dress, from the language, everything was enough to confuse the masses. This is the only business in the world where the deception is the easiest possible. Only business. And we are so hungry to be deceived. We are all ready to be taken for a ride. Have you ever thought about it? Why is it so? Because the demand is so high. The urge to find the truth is so high, and the supply is so short. Then we run out of the artificial. Market is flooded. So the word of caution here is step back. Let those words resonate inside, not with the intellect, but inside the heart. And when you are able to, let the heart do the talking, not the brain, then you will understand a secret which is so obvious. It is repeated like a parrot by everybody, yet not internalized. And the next hymn talks about that. He says, Varn, roop, varteh, sabh tayray. Varn means different shades, different colors. The society as it was evolving was divided into 4 sections. People who had the physical strength were given the choice of protection and defense. People who were sharp in the intellect were given the task of self-education and then educating the others. The people who were in the middle of these two were given the task of producing and business. And the people who did not fit any 3 of them was given the task as a service to the 3. That's how the classification of Kshatriya, Brahman, Vaishya and Shudra. Kshatriya the defense, Brahman the intellect, Vaishya the businessman and Shudra the service. But the idea was, look at the quality of the person, not the birth. The entire world forgot about it. So if you are born to a Rockefeller, you are going to be a rich man no matter what. I am going to make you a banker. If you are a son of a general, I am going to make sure you get into the military and you follow that career. If you are born to a Brahman, I am going to make sure that you are actually learning Vedas. Society got completely misguided. But the idea, and this idea is not just from India, it is all around the world. You can look everywhere. That is how the major four qualities operate everywhere. Did the human create that? The answer is no. That's how the life is designed. Varan, roop, varteh, sabh, tayray. You would understand if the confusion of the dimensions are gone and you are sitting next to the master and listening, not through your brain again, through your heart. You can very well see within yourself what are your strengths as a human. Are you the intellectual type? Are you the fighter type? Are you the worker type? Or are you the service type? You can see that very in your own self. You can see in your children. Where would they fit better? But that's not how we work. The child hasn't shown any tendency. Mother just got pregnant and she is already dreaming of, I am going to make this child the king of the country. Whether the child has any capability, it doesn't matter. And the mother is already grooming. So is the father. So is the family. The expectations are already being set without understanding, without realizing that this child who's going to come to this earth with a physical body is going to come with certain built-in characteristics. Let the child grow. Let the child manifest the characteristics, because you better not put any judgment on any one of the characteristics that the child manifests. Why not? My child, I'm a football player. He's going to be a football player. Why not? Am I wrong in expecting that? Yes, you are wrong in expecting that. Many innocent people have been burnt alive on the stake simply because a thief, a son will always be a thief. A sinner's son will always be a sinner. End of conversation. But if that other fog had been eliminated, then this understanding will become very clear. Varan, roop, varteh, sabh, tayray. You are the creator of this. You are the designer of it all. It's neither good nor bad. It is neither right nor wrong. For the past 50 years, two countries have done an experiment created by the human intellect. China and India. You know what that experiment is? Sex selective birth. Since the Chinese made the law of one child per family because they wanted to control the population, every parent decided we're going to have a male child. End of discussion. Why? We are farmers, we need male. Okay. India followed the same thing. From there came the infanticide. Abort the child if it's not a male. Last 50 years of that experiment, now they are paying the price for it, because the ratio of the male to the female is so unbalanced now that it will take another 50 years to catch up. Did not think with the eyes of a master. He is the creator. He maintains that ratio. He maintains that balance. He knows that. If the humanity was to ever start living at the spiritual level, these kind of stupidities will not take place. These mistakes will not be made. Because there will be a faith, there will be a acceptance of his design. Varan roop varteh sabh tayray, mar jameh fayr paveh ghanayray. You created this drama. You have set up the cycle of life and death. Another one of the human creations. In the medical profession nowadays, there is a huge discussion going on, which is how far long the life should be sported on this planet. And one should be decision be made, enough is enough. So what have we done? We have taken the decision of life and death in our own hands. The doctors are afraid of getting sued. So connect some machines and let the body be there as long as somebody outside says, I'm okay to unplug it. The decisions of life and death. We first create the problem and then we say, well, there is no solution. Why did you create the problem to begin with? The problem is based on your greed. Longer a vegetative state human body is, more money a doctor and a hospital and the nurses and everybody makes. When that technology wasn't there, what was happening? Has God just gone on a vacation since you have a heart and lung machine now? Why don't you let the nature do its job? Somebody argued with me. Well, that's not a very compassionate thing to say. You see the person is suffering. Here comes the Dr. Provokian. He says, I'll sell you the kit. You can kill yourself. Why? Because I have compassion for you. So I asked that young man, I said, would you like to drop an atom bomb on the entire starving population of Africa? They are suffering very much. Be compassionate. Every person who is suffering because of the health, because of the wealth, because of the sickness, because of the poverty, because of the broken heart, it doesn't matter. Just take a gun and shoot. Be compassionate. How childish. How naive for a human to take the design of the creative energy and become the decision maker. But if you are living in a spiritual dimension with the mystic, you wouldn't even talk about such things. Why? Mar jameh, fayr paveh ghanayray. Mar means to die, jameh means to be born again. So that's a cycle. Comes and goes. It's not a human design cycle. Human has no vote in it. Tu ayko nihchal agam apaaraa gurmatee boojh bujhaavani-aa. And you will understand that there is no competitor. It is not a decision by a committee. It is a decision of one, the ultimate creative energy. All decisions belong there. And if you don't understand that riddle, if you have difficulty in accepting it, talk to the one who's been there. Look for that guru. Look for that master. Boojh bujhaavani-aa. Bujhaavani literally means a riddle, which has a solution, but it's not a very obvious. How varee jee-o raam, naam, vasaavani-aa. Jis roop na raykh-i-aa varna koi gurmatee bujhaavani-aa. Understand and get it into your heart. Vasaavani-aa. Let it go inside your being. Let it become part of you. Just as the breathing is part of you, let this thought become part of you. Which thought? This roop na raykh-i-aa varna koi. That creative energy has no human characteristics. None whatsoever. He is neither loving nor hating nor rewarding nor punishing. It's beyond positive and negative. And you are here on this planet to develop those capabilities. How to be in the world, yet be not in the world. That is your task. That's your challenge. That is your assignment. That's your homework. When you left that dimension and came into this dimension, you were given a homework. And that was learn to live without getting influenced by the outer dimensions. Solve that riddle. It is possible to do that. You are a part of that creator. You have all the potentials, you have all the energy, you have all the creativity. Put into practice now. Sabh aykaa jyot jane jee-o. Every single creature on this planet and everywhere else in the entire creation, one energy. Very difficult to accept it. We get trapped. We say, well, I have a soul, don't I? Okay. Well, he is a super soul. No, he's not. What do you mean he's not? You just said I have a soul. Yes. It is the same soul that you are calling the super soul. I can't buy that. I don't see it. I just can't see it. Well, then sit down next to a master and he will explain to you. He'll show you how you are not any different. Period. You are godliness personified. Zennism says, Hinduism says, that you have 7 layers on top of your essence. That's why you don't see the reality, but you are the essence. But because I'm thinking through my mind, well, I have to see it to believe it. And the master says, yes, I can show you. No problem. You first stop believing that you are physical. Belief systems. There is a medical doctor by the name of John C. Lilly. He wrote a book, Science of Belief Systems. And his opening paragraph in that book was, in the province of the mind, what you believe to be true is true or becomes true. Hear these statements. Let it resonate. In the province of the mind, what is believed to be true is true or will become true. But in the province of the universe, of the Creator, there are no boundaries. There are no belief systems. Every belief system is a boundary. It limits you. But the mind, after all, is a clever one, is going to say, okay, I am going to believe that I can fly, so I am going to go on the roof and jump. You just said what I believe to be true will become true, so I am going to jump. Mind will play these tricks with you. Because if you were evolved enough that you are not a physical body, yes, you can go on the roof and jump. Not the physical body. Something else will jump. You can do that right now. You can jump. Shocking statement, is it not? Could your body not be sitting here and you be in New Delhi, India, right now? Could you not be? Haven't you taken a jump? Haven't you flown away completely without hurting the body? But we'll mix these dimensions. We would not listen to a master. We will not understand a master because our brain will come in the way, as I said earlier. You are the same. Forget about this argument that I have it. So, because of Freud said, so we believed it. Freud said there is an id, there is an ego, there is a superconscious, there is a subconscious. God Almighty. So now we are trying to decipher that. Whole of the school of thought, all the pop culture is analyzing the belief systems, forgetting where the belief system came from to begin with. Never got to the core. Only started analyzing the physical bodies, the emotional bodies, the intellectual bodies. That's it. You are that. You cannot convince a mystic that you are somebody different than that pure essence. That essence is hidden in you. is completely sleeping in you. That's all possible. But you cannot deny that you are it. Sabhi ka jyot jane je koi. Jane je koi. Some rare one will understand it. And if the understanding there will, acceptance will become impossible. Because the mind will insist on the experience. Show me. We do that all the time. That's why I share this experience with all of you many times. That when the Krishnamurti was asked, show me the God, and he pointed out to a dog. He said, oh, there goes the God. And everybody laughed. Krishnamurti wasn't lying. He could see the God in the dog, but the others couldn't. They all saw the dog. You have to evolve spiritually to that level. Sabhe ka jyot jane je koi, sadgur sayvi-ai, pargat hoi, gupat pargat varteh sabh thaa-ee, jyoti jyot milaavani-aa. Once you are sincere about it, you seek that master out, you find that master, and you stay with it. What will happen? Sadgur sayvi-ai pargat hoi. Pargat literally means it will personify. It will become clear. There will be no secret left. You can actually see it. Gupat pargat varteh sabh thaa-ee, jyoti jyot milaavani-aa. Understand that he is manifested in some hearts and they can see it, feel it, experience it. And in certain places it's just sleeping, it's just hidden. Just because it's hidden doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You be desirous of finding it and you will get it. Tisna agal jare sansara. But that's not what is happening. When you see in the outer side world, the three dimensions are in complete control of every single human body. Tishna agam. Tishna means desire. Agam means fire. Jale sansara. Sansar means the whole universe. In the three dimensions, they are completely trapped. No exception to the rule. And being trapped on that, instead of getting out of it, every effort is made to stay in it. Why do we do that? Knowingly, why we do this? Here's the dilemma. When you want to go on the roof, you start walking the stairs. So you take the first step. You go on the first stair, second, third. Now you are away from the ground, but you haven't reached the top yet. Can you imagine the fear? You haven't gotten the top. The security of the ground is gone. The security of the top isn't available yet. What to do? Well, the best choice is stay on the ground. Because there is going to be a process, there is going to be a transition when you will be neither on the ground nor on the top. Spiritual journey starts this way. To avoid that fear, you don't take the step. You just stay on the ground. Say, make me a quantum jump so that I can leapfrog from here. Can you just not touch my forehead and open my third eye so that I don't have to go through this? Just make it happen. Come on. That's what we run after these sadhus. Let me just touch the robe and maybe that's what Jesus did. Touch the robe and I have read it in the book. The miracles happen. Don't fall in that trap. Jesus never said, I can heal you. Never claimed once throughout the entire life that he had performed a single miracle. Miracle means something that brain cannot explain. Any scripture, Pandit, show me where the Jesus declared and claimed, I did it. Why not? Was he trying to hide? No, he never did. He was truthful. Miracles are not done by people. The things that happen that are unexplainable is done by the unexplainable one, not by the people. So even when somebody who has not walked and is now walking right in front of him, and he will declare, look, I am walking. Is it not a miracle? You did it. And he say, stop. I didn't do anything. Your faith did. Isn't that? But Master is declaring, standing right in front, telling the truth. And the people are denying it. No, you did it. I'm not going to buy it. I saw it. He goes in front of the entire Jewish missionary and declares, I'm not a miracle worker. They say, well, bring those witnesses. Look at the drama. The Master is saying, no, you are mistaken. And we are saying, no, you are lying now. Why? Because my intellect doesn't accept it. And we started this talk with that first assumption. If you are a sincere student of spirituality, mysticism, put this monkey on the side. It has no business in this dimension. But that's not what happens. What happens? Tisna agan jale sansara lob abhiman bahut ahankara. See, why don't the people accept when they see it, when the Master is saying, say, well, their own ego, ahankara, their own ego gets hurt if they accept the truth. You can see it within yourself, regardless of how much age you have passed on this planet. If you are to accept that you have lived with this belief system for so long and the belief system was wrong, how would you feel? Wouldn't you feel hurt? What do you mean, I have wasted the entire life? What do you mean, I was such an idiot? What do you mean, all millions of people are idiots? And we'll go on and on and on to save that ego. No, I wasn't wrong. There may be something fundamentally wrong with what you are saying, what you are doing, what the Master is saying. We couldn't be. Look at how many votes are there. spirituality is not a subject of a majority. It's not a decision or decision-making body. Spirituality cannot be driven, cannot be implemented, cannot be ruled by the masses, by the majority. You will have to manage to deal with your own ego. Because if you don't, nature is not going to feel sorry for you. Why? मर मर जन्मे पत गवाए अपनी बिरथा जन्म गवावने मर wow, you'll someday die in this physical body, someday you will be reborn, and someday you will realize that you have wasted one carnation. That's all. Why should the nature be sorry? It's your life, it's your turn, it's your opportunity. If you wasted it, so be it. Birtha janma gavaavani-aa, wasteful opportunity. गुरु का शब्द को विरला बूझे, आप मारे ता त्रिभवन सूझे, फिर ओ मरे न मरना होवे सहजे सच समावने. It is an invitation to join that rare club, exclusive club. Which exclusive club? Guru ka shabad ko virla bujhe. Virla literally means rare. Bujhe means the one who has solved the riddle. Bujharat, a riddle. Come join the club of those few chosen ones. Understand this riddle. What is the riddle? Aap mare. Self, the ego. Mare, annihilation. No more I. Everything you. No more me. Everything he. Are you willing to walk on that path? Because if you are, here is a grace, here is a manna, here is the heavenly fruit for you. Ta tre-bhavan sooj hai. Tre-bhavan, three existences. Three level of existences. You will see the secret. Physical, emotional, intellectual will become completely crystal clear, and you will transcend all three of them, and you will know how to be a God within a physical body. How to live like one. How to be like one. Once you reach that stage, fir o mare na marna ho. Now you are transcending the cycle of life and death. Doesn't mean this physical body will not die. No, you are transcending the cycle. Once you are there, you will not come back. You will not repeat the same cycle. But we are going to get confused here again, because three major religions of the world say there is only one life. Now what to do? But we said earlier, if you are going to carry forward your training, education, learning, belief systems with you, then you don't belong in this exclusive club. That entry is not available. That's a prerequisite. That's your entrance fees to this school. Suspend your old information, suspend your old knowledge, suspend your old things, and learn to live a brand new lifestyle as a human in completely mystical way, spiritual way. It is possible, it has been done over and over and over again. The whole of the history of human consciousness is full of such masters who have experimented it, shown it, and then documented it. So, we'll take a pause here and God willing, if there are enough breaths left, we'll meet again next Friday to continue this journey. If there are any questions or comments, the lines are still open.